This is Jamie Drummond for Good Food Revolution. And it looks like we have a festive edition today with a lovely Christmas tree in the background. We have none other than Jody and Emily Towe, who are joining us all the way from, it's Escondido you stay in, right? That's just north of San Diego?
That's where the winery is, yes.
Right. For those people unfamiliar with your operation down there, Brix, please tell us a little bit about what you get up to down in Escondido.
Well, we started out making wine in 2009 in our garage and grew from there. So we never actually intended to start a winery. We really had just wanted to give it a go to make some wine after spending several years in the Central Coast area of California with friends who had wineries up there. So it was very, very modest, humble beginnings, and it's still just the two of us doing all of the jobs. But we have been in the Escondido facility since 2013. Basically just a great big warehouse in a warehouse park. You wouldn't know what went on inside unless you rolled up the doors and got a peek. But yeah, so we're making about 2,500 to 3,000 cases now each year.
Oh boy, okay.
We work with vineyards all over California. So we are based down here in the San Diego area, but we work with vineyards in the Central Coast as well, in the Santa Barbara region, and one in the Sierra foothills. So I think we're just taking the best fruit we can find from really amazing sites all over California and letting the vineyards speak through the wines.
Now you were working together at the Escondido vineyard, right?
We were.
And what was it that gave you the inspiration to create the operation Brix?
I think it was just the community, right? Just coming together, people just supporting each other, and then just the magic of making wine once you've done it. You're hooked. And
you have a background in horticulture, is that correct?
I do, yes, which really helped a lot.
I would imagine.
Very well, so.
And Emily, you have a background in both writing and design.
Yes.
And how does that translate to your role as a co-winemaker?
Well, I think it's you're just telling stories in a different way, really, and being able to run the website and to do all the communications and all of that is useful for sure. But it really is an interesting path that, yes, you're creating something and you're working with raw materials and you're turning it into something new, just similar to if you're writing a story. It's just a little bit you get to sip and enjoy.
Now, through doing some research on your wines, you would I guess you would call your wines natural?
They fall under that category, however you want to define.
And was that the original concept when you started the project?
Once we got more into actually realizing we were going to continue to do it, and it wasn't just going to be a hobby anymore, then yeah, we took a good look at the way that we fed our children and the foods that we wanted to eat ourselves, and it just sort of naturally went from there. The winery where we had gotten some experience, we witnessed all different methods of winemaking. So everything from the very standard, with pitching yeast to more natural experiments. And so, especially since we didn't really have much to lose, I think we thought, let's make it exactly the way we want it, and hopefully it'll turn out. And we've been, it's really, I think, the truest expression of these sites is to allow them to speak and say what they want to say, rather than having a preconceived style that we want it to taste like this, this, and this, and manipulating in order to get there.
Interesting. Well, I was just astonished at how many varieties you work with. I mean, you're looking at 16 different grapes the last time I looked. How on earth do you do that?
Well, we never stop to think about that, or we would probably just, I know we're crazy in that way, but I think it's just always trying to do something new and fun. We have definitely standards now that we make every year, but always looking to do something a little different each year, and then that gets you in trouble with, getting into 18 different wines sometimes. But yeah, it's fun. There's always something to learn. You're never going to know everything, which is another aspect of the winemaking that we really like.
I was also quite astonished at how many different styles you make. Whole load of sparkling, skin contact, orange, rosé, chardonnay. You do everything. Like I'm interested. Like how big are these lots when you're making them?
They range anywhere from 65 cases up to 400 or 500 cases
Wow.
as our largest lot.
And do you have any particular favorites right now? Any varieties that are really getting you excited right now?
It's hard to pick the favorite kid, but
Right,
I
of
mean,
course, yeah.
Pinot Meunier has been really super fun to work with. We just started with that, last year. This is our second time making it, and we did a still Pinot Meunier, and then this year we're playing with a pet nat that's showing really fun signs. So I mean, that's one of them. There's definitely others, but that's kind of a fun one.
And
You know,
you're sourcing from a huge number of vineyards all over the state, right? From top to bottom.
yes, yes. I mean, we control the farming and how the style we want it, and we work with people who are open to that, rather than being stuck with one site, which we would just rather be able to pick and choose kind of what we want to work with, which also gets you in trouble because 16 different wines. But I think that's the fun part about California. Has so much to offer that we really enjoy.
And how much time do you spend on the road? Because if you're visiting all of these vineyards all over California, surely that's a fair bit of traveling.
Fall is very, very busy.
Right.
This is kind of like a relaxed time, and then spring, as things start to wake up, we'll start going up. But yeah, in the fall, we could be up there a couple times a week. So we rack up a lot of mileage, but it's nice that we have 3 vineyards we work with in San Diego now.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice to have some stuff in the backyard as well.
Now, when I've been speaking with people who have vineyards a little bit further south in California, they've definitely been feeling the impact of climate change. Is that something that you've been encountering yourself?
It's definitely a concern that we have on some of our cooler climate fruit that we're used to, like what's going to change. But I mean, the seasons they've been really all over in the last 5 years, but I haven't really noticed any kind of quality issue yet. Just either later ripening or earlier ripening, depending on, like, this year was kind of more what it used to be all the time, where you start harvesting in second week of September through October. But the 3 or 4 years prior to that, everything started coming in the middle of August. So it's kind of all over. But it's certainly something on the map we're keeping an eye on.
Right. That makes sense. Now, it would be remiss of me not to mention that we're still in the middle of this awful pandemic. How has the pandemic impacted things for you at J. Brix?
We, in the very beginning, when everything was so uncertain back in March and April, and everything was shut down, we really kind of thought, what's going to happen? What will people, should we even keep doing this? But what ended up happening was that people really were interested in buying wine because everyone was stuck at home, and also just there was a real movement to support small independent businesses that we benefited from. So our sales, even though a lot of our markets in the US where the restaurants were the main focus, those really pretty much shut down, but the consumers who came to support us ended up making it a really good past 2 years. So it's a silver lining for sure. But yeah, we've used to do a lot of travel and events and things like that. So with all of that shuttered, I wondered if, how it would be, would people still find us, but all in all, we've been fortunate to continue doing what we do in the midst of all this craziness.
And how is the craziness in your part of California right now? Excuse my ignorance. I should have checked the news before I got on this call, but where are you at with regards to vaccinations, cases, and all of that stuff?
So in San Diego, I believe the vaccination rate is close to 80%. We've been in a pretty good place for the last couple of months here. And yeah, just we've got our boosters and, looking hopefully the tide will continue to go in the right direction here, because yeah, in a number of other states, it's not a good scene at all.
Right. And where are you with regards to hospitality opening in the lake?
Everything
Most of it's open
is
now.
open. Yeah, different counties kind of in this region have rules about indoor masking or not, but pretty much everything is the restaurants are operating, and
Yes.
the hotels are accepting guests. So
Did you see many close over the course of the pandemic? Like,
We're just
good.
We've seen a few that definitely didn't make it, and then the ones that went to strictly takeout
Yes.
did well enough to make it through. Thankfully, we tried to support them as much as we could, but there were definitely some casualties, which is really sad, because there were some places that have been around for a really long time that just couldn't make that transition.
Well, I always like to end these interviews on a high note. So I guess I'll ask you the question, what is the most valuable thing that you learned yourselves throughout the pandemic?
I think the importance of community, because our partners in the wine world and friends and people who cared about the wines really came together to make sure that we were all going to survive this thing. And I think it just showed that even if we can't be together, we still really need each other.
I would say, even though we weren't allowed, we weren't really going out on the road, we still kept in touch with people really well, which I think was really nice. You didn't get the passing and pouring situation, but more on the one-on-one, which was kind of fun.
And did you get involved in any kind of online virtual tastings or anything like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, there were a few months when everybody was very gung-ho about the virtual tastings. That has fizzled a bit, but it was fun. It was a good way to connect.
Well, thank you very much for joining us at Good Food Revolution today. We look forward to tasting your wines through drinkbetter.ca. And let's catch up again at some point in the future. I look forward to tasting your wines when more of them arrive here with Carrie. But in the meanwhile, have a great festive season. Enjoy your tree and your dog in the background there. And we'll speak again soon. Thank you very much.
Thank
you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.